له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تبارك وتعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد فيا عباد الله، يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أن نقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. صدق الله العلي العظيم. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: والله إني لأستغفر الله في اليوم 70 مرة، أكثر من 70 مرة، وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. There is no doubt that our Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the best of role models, an amazing individual, the best of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And everything he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did was amazing. His teachings were amazing. His style was amazing. His leadership style was amazing. His being a father was amazing. Him being a husband was amazing. Him being your companion, your friend, your colleague, the way he presented himself was amazing. As a matter of fact, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiyallahu ta'ala, he said, Ya Rasulullah, man ahabbak? Ya Rasulullah, who do you love the most? You see, when we read about the Arabs in the time of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we read about how uncivilized they were, how strict they were, how stern they were. They were men, they didn't cry. They saw the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam crying and said, Ya Rasulullah, you're crying, men don't cry. So he asked, and a man does not express his love for his wife. When Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiyallahu ta'ala, he said, Man ahabbak, who do you love the most? What did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say? Aisha. I love Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala the most. No, min ar-rijal, I'm talking about the men. Abuha, her dad, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala. Okay, thumma man? Umar radiyallahu ta'ala. Thumma man? Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiyallahu ta'ala. Why did he ask the question? He asked the question because he thought that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who do you love the most? Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiyallahu ta'ala thought that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was going to say, you. This is how he presented himself to everyone, as if he was everyone's best friend. This was his style. So everything about the Prophet ﷺ and his teachings, they were so universal. What applied then 1400 years ago applies today just as much as it did 1400 years ago. It's not medieval. It's not outdated. It's not old. It's not only for the old people, the elders, or the past. No. The teachings of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam apply today. They're relevant today just as much as they were relevant 1400 years ago. So let's look at something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam connects us with when it comes to this creation and the world around us. Right now, we're entering the season, if it has not started. Atlanta already delays the weather season for some reason, but it's fall, it's autumn to an extent. So the Prophet ﷺ, how does he connect fall and autumn with Islam? I want to get back to that. But before we come to that, this creation around us is supposed to have an effect on us. It's not like this dunya, we stay away from this dunya, we don't care about this dunya at all. No. We're supposed to use this dunya to remind us about the existence of Allah. Every morning, every single morning, when our Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam woke up, what did he recite? The last ruku of Surah Ali Imran. How does it start? إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. In the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of the day and night, changing of the day and night, in the creation of the heavens, in the creation of the earth, in the changing of the day and the night, in it, لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ is a sign for those who understand. Who are the people of understanding? الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا. Who's أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ? Who are the people who ponder upon the creation of Allah? Who are the people that reflect upon the creation of Allah? Who are they? الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا. They are those who remember Allah standing. They are those who remember Allah sitting. They are those who remember Allah laying down. And what do they say? وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. They ponder upon the creation. They ponder upon the heavens and the earth, and they say to themselves, every single morning, the Prophet ﷺ is reminding himself this. What does he say? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Oh Allah, you did not create this earth in vain. You didn't create it useless. Every morning, the Prophet ﷺ is reminding himself, what is the purpose of my existence? In this season, in this time, to an extent, it is the best time to ponder upon the creation of Allah. The leaves falling from the trees, yes, in springtime it will blossom back. But right now it gives a cool feeling, it gives a relaxed feeling, it gives a meditating feeling. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala, whenever winter or fall would come, he would say, Marhaban bishita. Welcome winter, welcome fall. Why? Because the nights are now longer and the days are shorter. The days are shorter and the nights are longer. This is the time where we're supposed to connect with the creation, and in turn that creation should remind us about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my first advice is, when you go home, if you get a chance right after salah, take out your phones, look at the translation of the last ruku of Surah Al-Imran, from Inna fi khalqi as-samawati wal ardh. Very beautiful. Look at the last ruku of Surah Al-Imran. And when you read it, read the Arabic, read the translation too. When you read it, ask yourself, why would the Prophet ﷺ read these verses every single morning when he woke up for tahajjud? And see the effect that it has on him. Okay, this is what the Prophet was doing every single morning. So we first read those verses, understand. Number two, every single morning, before Fajr, after Fajr, before breakfast, after breakfast, whenever it may be, take out 5 minutes. Take out 5 minutes and just ponder and reflect about the creation. You see, when you want to be connected to someone, or when we talk about someone's success, we don't say that individual is amazing, oh, he's such a great person. No. We talk about the things that they have accomplished. How are they successful? They built that, they donated this, they did this, they did this. We talk about their success. We talk about their accomplishments. And in turn, when you talk about their success and their accomplishments, that connects you with that individual. When you want to be connected to Allah, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala, he says, تفكر في كل شيء ولا تفكر في ذات الله. When you want to think about Allah, ponder upon the creation of Allah, not the essence of Allah. So every morning for 5 minutes, your surroundings around you, the sky, the land, the grass, the house, the sink in your house, the stove in your house, the glasses you wear, the clothes you wear, every single thing around you is the creation of Allah, and in turn, that creation of Allah should remind you about the Creator. So 5 minutes every morning, ponder upon the creation of Allah and connect it with Allah. One scholar, he says, Wallahi inni la akhraju min manzili, fama yaka'u basari. He says, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, every morning when I leave my house, my eye does not see anything except that it reminds me of Allah. Everything reminds me of Allah. The trees remind me of Allah. The car turning the ignition reminds me of Allah. The door opening in the car reminds me of Allah. The clothes that I'm wearing reminds me of Allah. Every single thing around me does what? It reminds me about Allah. How amazing of a life would an individual have if everything around him reminds him about Allah. Constantly he's conscious of Allah. What is taqwa? The first characteristic in Surah Alif Lam Mim and Surah Al-Baqarah, what is it? Hudan lil muttaqeen. What is the characteristics of the muttaqeen? Alladheena yu'minuna bil ghayb. Al-muttaqeen, those who are conscious of Allah. What is taqwa? Over and over, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The greatest outcome will be for those who have taqwa. What is taqwa? In essence, taqwa is to be conscious of Allah. And that consciousness prevents you from sinning, and that consciousness gives you the strength to do good deeds. My Allah's watching me. My Allah's there. My Allah's aware of what I'm doing. وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. He's aware of every single action that I'm doing. Every single thing in front of me reminds me of Allah. So that pondering of 5 minutes should have that effect that everything you see reminds you about Allah. First two advices. See, I'm not trying to entertain you and just have some fun and amusement. You leave and you forget. So you have to remember these points. Number one was, take Surah Ali Imran, the last ruku. Read the Arabic, read the English, and think about why did the Prophet ﷺ read these verses every single morning. Number two, take 5 minutes of your day. 5, 10, 15. You know all these rich people, they write their articles about their daily routines. What are they saying? I'm so connected to this world, I'm making so much money, but I take 10 to 15 minutes every morning to ponder and meditate. They're not our role models. They're not our role models. These rich people are not our role models. But because somewhat we want to be like them or we want to have the wealth, this is part of their daily routine too, their routine too. But we don't do it for them, we do it for spiritual and then mental. Number three. As you can see, the leaves are falling. And then automatically when you see the leaves falling, you're like, oh man, I have to rake my yard and I have to clean it up and I have to call people to clean it up. No. The leaves falling should be, the tree is being cleansed. Allah is getting rid of the leaves. He's going to bring some new beautiful leaves back. Likewise, we want the sins to fall off our shoulders. The Prophet ﷺ was walking with his Sahaba, he grabs a branch and he shakes it. And the leaves fall down. The Prophet ﷺ said, just as I shook this tree and the leaves fell down, likewise if you prayed your 5 daily prayers, your sins would fall down like that. So fall is connected to forgiveness. So the third advice, seek the forgiveness of Allah every single day. The Prophet ﷺ said, in a narration narrated by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala. Who's saying this? An-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, he says, my Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Wallahi inni la astaghfirullah fi kulli yawmin akthar min 70. I swear by Allah, I beg Allah to forgive me more than 70 times a day. Now I'm going to touch another point with this. To ask Allah for forgiveness is easy. Because we know He's Ghafoor. We know He's the Rahim. We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, Rahmati sabakat ghadabi. My rahmah, my mercy has surpassed my anger. We know it's easy to an extent to earn the forgiveness of Allah, yet it is so difficult for us to do the action of forgiving. Over here, you see when somebody makes a mistake, we want the surroundings to forgive them immediately. Right? If I made a mistake, I want everyone to forgive me. But if you made a mistake, I want to hold you accountable. I'm never going to forgive you. It's part of human nature. While you're asking Allah to forgive you, have it instilled within you too. I also need to learn how to forgive others. You see, in order to be a good speaker, you must first listen to be a good listener. You must first learn to be a good listener. In order to be a good employer, you must learn to be a good employee. In order to be a leader, you need to learn how to be a follower first, so you know what the other side is. You know what the other person is feeling. Otherwise, how would you be a good leader if you've never been a follower? You want other people to follow you, but you've never followed. You want Allah to forgive you, yet you don't have the strength to forgive. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala, he's upset with Mistah radiyallahu ta'ala. Mistah radiyallahu ta'ala was amongst those people who accused Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala, he says, I swear by Allah, I won't forgive you. I won't donate to you. I won't give you anything anymore. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya Abu Bakr, if Allah has his doors of forgiveness open, why would you shut yours? So 4 things, and I have to end now. Number 1. Read the last ruku of Surah Ali Imran, the Arabic and the English translation, and ponder upon why did our Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam read this every single. That's how he started his day off. You read everyone else's daily routine. This is how he started his day off. Why? Number 2, take 5 minutes, ponder upon the creation of Allah and connect that creation of Allah to Allah. That everything reminds you of Allah. Number 3, say astaghfirullah at least 100 times a day. While you're saying astaghfirullah, number 4, you want the quality of forgiving others instilled within you too. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all Jannat al-Firdaus. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower His rahmah upon all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us. Jazakumullahu khairan.